Hey folks, and welcome to Truck King. Today is an exciting one because we have these. That right there is the all-new Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, and that is the new Toyota Tacoma Trailhunter. And in this video, we're going off-road. We're going to find the mud, rocks, and water, and do some high-speed off-roading to find out the true differences between these two trucks. Let's start by talking powertrains. Now, both of these trucks only get this engine under the hood. That is a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder hooked up to a hybrid setup. Total system output, 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, sent through an 8-speed automatic. Now let's drop the hood, and there is no hood prop here. This is old school. No gas assist hood prop, I should say. So let's just start by looking at these trucks because the styling is slightly different. Obviously, a lot of things are similar. Over here on the Trailhunter, you're getting the bronze accents up there in the lettering and on the wheels and sort of throughout the truck. On the TRD Pro, you're getting this more aggressive hood with that hood scoop up there. And then one of the little features I really like up here in the headlights, it actually says Trailhunter and TRD Pro, and that's illuminated. So at night, you can kind of read those badges. That is pretty cool. So yeah, styling is different. The other thing you're going to notice on the Trailhunter right away is the roof rack, the snorkel over there, although they don't call it a snorkel, but I'm calling it a snorkel. And then in the back, you get that rack in the bed. So that really separates these two trucks visually. Why don't you just drop in the comments now? Let me know what you think of the styling overall on the new Tacoma, and then just from a looks perspective, which one are you taking, TRD Pro or Trailhunter? Looking at the rubber, these are the exact same set of tires on both trucks from the dealership. That's a set of Goodyear Wrangler Territory RTs, 33 inches in diameter. Both of them fit to 18-inch wheels, but yes, very different wheels. Now, as we roll back through the trucks, another difference you're going to notice, the steps. Here on the TRD Pro, you actually have these small steps that hang down, whereas over on the Trailhunter, that's a much more traditional rock rail. This is more about protection, where TRD Pro is more about helping you get up and in. Now again, looking at Trailhunter, love that you get the standard roof rack up here. This truck is more about adventuring into the backwoods, so generally you're bringing some stuff with you. You're going to need to tie it down. Same goes for this rear rack in the bed. Now it actually uses this MOLLE panel here, so there's many different types of accessories, bags, coolers, tie downs, you name it, that you can attach onto here. So that is pretty neat as well. And then this just also serves as somewhere you can tie things down to. So I like the bed rack, and although I do think it's functional, mostly it does just look cool as well. We're going to talk suspension, but I'm going to get into the details of that once the trucks are up on the rack, so just give it a couple minutes. Let's take a closer look at the beds right now. So first of all, we'll start on TRD Pro. I have to show you this feature. Built into the taillight right here, there's a button, and that's going to drop your tailgate. And the great thing on the Tacoma is that button is on both the passenger side and over here on the driver's side. So on the TRD Pro here, we have the 5-foot bed. This is the only bed you're going to find on this truck. Over here on the driver's side on this truck, a little bit of storage and a little bit of power in there. You have a 12-volt and a couple of USB ports. So nice to have those in the back of your truck, especially the USB ports. They're becoming so ubiquitous everywhere. It's nice to have those in the bed of your truck as well. Now flipping over to this side, we get a little storage cubby here. Nice to pack your stuff out of the weather. And then up top, maybe more importantly, power. And this is 2,400 watts of power. So really a legitimate amount of power in the bed of these Tacomas. And that is thanks to the hybrid setup. So looking up here, another feature I like is this new tonneau cover for the Tacoma. It's the hard folding tonneau cover, but this position is really interesting to me. You get these little prop rods and you can drive with it like this. The idea here is that the tonneau cover eats up less of your bed. Usually these hard folding tonneaus can eat up quite a bit in the front. This one's a little bit less, so you can load things right up to there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. You can also drive with it closed or sort of flat folded as well. So that's the TRD Pro. Now looking at our Trailhunter, we have the long bed Trailhunter today. So this is the 6-foot bed. So yes, slightly larger over here. Now this truck, you can choose short bed or long bed, but we do have the long bed. That's also going to change the wheelbase, so it'll be interesting to feel the difference once we get off-road. But same deal, button for your tailgate, that's powered down and powered up. I should also mention too, this is the Tacoma composite bed, so no steel back here. This thing is all this heavy duty plastic back here. Can be a little slippery on the one hand, on the other hand, it's never gonna rust like a steel bed would, so I do think there's pros and cons. Now on the passenger side, same setup as TRD Pro, 2400 watt plug up there, storage down below, but in this case, the storage bin comes pre-packed with the Toyota compressor kit, which is for the Trailhunter's built-in air compressor. So that's over here on the driver's side. It's down behind this panel right here, so if you ever need to work on your compressor, you can open this panel up and actually get in there, and that's how you access it. You just throw a quick disconnect on right there, and then you can do many different things with an air compressor on your truck. I mean, I think the obvious one is you're gonna blow up tires on the trail, especially if you have to air down, you can air yourself back up. It's also nice just to be able to blow out your things, and I'm always thinking about camping with the Trailhunter. It's more of the overlanding truck, so just to be able to take your tent or, you know, your dirty shoes and blow them out with compressed air would be nice. And then maybe some tools, some lightweight air tools, you could bring those along too. So I really do like that they built in that compressor. That is a neat feature, and it's one of the things that sets these trucks apart and reminds you that the Trailhunter is really focused on that overlanding kind of camping aspect, while the TRD Pro is really just about going fast. One other interesting thing here in the bed of the TRD Pro that I've never seen before are these little tubes up in here. These are actually drains. So there's essentially a little rain gutter up here on the edge of the tonneau cover that's gonna catch any rainwater. That's gonna run down into the tubes and then drain out through these holes in the bed, and they just drain right underneath the truck. So yeah, this is really about keeping the water out of your bed. Let's talk towing and payload now. So here on our TRD Pro, you can tow up to 6,000 pounds. The Trailhunter just slightly less at 5,950. Now, one thing I have to tell you about is this hitch. It's a very different looking hitch because it has sort of the inner regular hitch tube, and then it has an outer tube on it, and you can actually even kind of put your finger in here and feel there's the outer wall and then the inner wall. Now, what that means is that it's an extra wide hitch, and the first time we went to tow with the Tacoma, my regular kingpin wasn't long enough. Now Toyota did know that though, so the good news is every owner is going to get one of these in their glove box. So you will be provided with a long kingpin to make sure you can tow with that, and then you can probably just go buy some yourself, of course. But that's one thing to note. Most regular length kingpins aren't going to fit in that hitch. Now let's go take a look at the payload. So here on our TRD Pro, it is 1,200 pounds, and let's see if the Trailhunter is any different. Here on the white Trailhunter, 1,145 pounds. So just like the tow ratings, the Trailhunter is just slightly less capable than the TRD Pro. Let me show you one other cool feature here. It's down at the corner of the windshield. Yes, those dots and dashes are Morse code, and right here they spell out BADASS space TRUCK. Toyota wants you to know that this is a badass truck in Morse code. Let's take a closer look underneath now, and I like to start up front with the tow hooks. And yes, there are tow hooks here unlike its big brother, the Tundra. So they're a little bit low down when this truck is sitting on the ground, but still I appreciate that you have two nice tow hooks up there if you need to be pulled out or pull someone else out. Now we get to the big TRD front aluminum skid plate. The one thing I do want to say though, I don't love this gap right here and the fact that this edge is just sort of protruding. This is going to act like a bit of a shovel in the deep mud, sand, snow, and you're going to end up with some debris up top. So I kind of wish Toyota closed that gap. Now, as I mentioned, this is an aluminum skid plate. This is my magnet. And you can tell because my magnet does not stick right there. So this is a common thing. TRD Pro has used these big aluminum skid plates for a while, and they certainly do look nice right out of the box. And this is a long skid plate reaching all the way back here behind the suspension components. Now, talking about those suspension components, here on the TRD Pro, you're getting a set of 2.5-inch Fox QS3 shocks. Now, QS3 stands for Quick Switch 3, and you can see there's actually these little switches up in here, and you can set them 3, 2, or 1. 1 is going to be your softest setting. 3 is going to be your firmest setting. I'm going to set them all to 1 today, and I'm going to run this thing on its softest possible setting. These are also internal bypass shocks. Now, these shocks have 5 zones of compression and 3 different zones of rebound, and basically what that means is it depends how hard you hit that shock to how much damping force it is going to provide. The idea is it's going to be best of both worlds. Off-road, you're running at high speeds, it's going to provide the correct amount of damping, and then on-road, when you just want a soft, comfortable cruise, it should give you that as well, and we're going to test that out here today. So rolling back, we get to our next little skid plate, and this one is a steel skid plate, and this is specifically for the disconnecting front sway bar mechanism. You can sort of see it up in here. It gets its own coverage. I appreciate that. Next, we roll back to the transfer case, which gets its own very cute little steel skid plate right there. So nice to have the T case covered up. And then the fuel tank. This is this high density plastic skid plate. So they don't go for metal on the fuel tank. They go for this special composite plastic. Now when we get to the very back, the same shocks back here. We also have the clickers. I'll make the point about the clickers right now. Because it's up on the rack and I'm underneath it, it's easy to get in here and adjust my 3 settings. But when this truck is on the ground, it's really a pain in the butt. You really need to lay down, get underneath it, or you got to get right into your tire and reach around. And as you also notice, this truck is totally clean right now. Once I've run it through the mud, yeah, I'm not interested in climbing underneath, rubbing up against it, and getting in here to these clickers. So I like that you have the option to manually adjust them, but it's not going to be the cleanest operation when you want to get down and do that. Now, the other difference on these back shocks, you'll notice right here, those are remote reservoirs. So these are running, you know, extra fluid with those shocks to make sure you don't experience shock fade when you're off-road. Now, finally, at the very back here, we do have a full-size spare tire hanging down underneath. Now let's throw the Trailhunter up here and we'll see the differences. And now let's look under the Trailhunter, and there's actually quite a few differences between these trucks. First of all, tow hooks, same position, same tow hooks up front there, and that same gap exists sort of from the front plastic to this first skid plate. But here's one of the biggest differences right off the bat. That's a steel skid plate. So here on Trailhunter, they went for the stronger material. Obviously, they're anticipating you're going to be hitting some bigger rocks and dragging more. And then further back, you get this long skid plate right here. Also steel. Now this is covering up that sway bar mechanism, same as TRD Pro, and the transfer case at the rear end, but in the center, it's covering up your oil pan. On the TRD Pro, it was a bit exposed. Mind you, it is tucked up a bit, but if you did happen to come down on a rock right on it, yeah, you could puncture that. So more coverage here on your Trailhunter and steel coverage. The other big difference up front, the suspension. So these are still 2.5-inch shock bodies, but those are provided by Old Man Emu. Now these are not adjustable, so I can't get in there and turn any clickers like on the Fox suspension. And again, the Fox is about going fast. These are more about absorbing, you know, smaller hits over a longer period of time. So it'll be really interesting to feel the suspension differences once we get off-road. Now, as we roll back, another difference I want to point out over here at the rock rails. On the TRD Pro, the steps were fixed to the rocker panels. That's fine. If you have a true set of rock rails, though, you want them fixed to the frame, and that's exactly what Toyota has done here. So I love to see that these are bolted onto your frame, so you know if you actually get some serious weight on these, it's going to support your truck and not damage anything. So that's a great upgrade. Oh, you know what I will say? The transfer case is right here, and it does get its own little cute skid plate. This skid plate kind of covers half of it, but they still give you the TK skid plate individually. Love to see that. And then another major difference I noticed right away, this truck has a two-piece drive shaft back here, where the TRD Pro had a single-piece drive shaft. So there's another big difference. Part of that might be because this is the longer bed, but yeah, something to note for sure. Now, over your gas tank, you're still getting that high density plastic, so no steel back here. And then at the very back, a couple other interesting things to note. First of all, you are getting a steel skid plate on your rear differential. That was not there on the TRD Pro. And then it's very clear to see the exhaust difference. Here on the Trailhunter, the exhaust ends right here. It's very tucked up, entirely out of the way. When you have an exhaust pipe hanging out the back end, it can sort of compromise your departure angle. On the TRD Pro, they come out the side, but sure, there is a situation where you could probably crunch those pipes. Here, the pipe is totally tucked up and out of the way, so love to see that. And then again, another set of Old Man Emu shocks, and you also get remote reservoirs at your rear end, just like on the TRD Pro. But you don't get those fancy Fox bump stops like you did on the TRD Pro here on the Trailhunter. So yeah, you know what? I thought we'd put these up here and they would look the same, but the trucks look significantly different from underneath. And if you're just talking about overall coverage and protection, the Trailhunter is definitely better. All right, folks, now our off-road fun begins. So we're here in the TRD Pro. We're going to start with the ditch crossing, and I'm actually going to go to a brand new location we've never used before on our ditch, because where we normally run trucks through, the ruts have become incredibly deep, which actually in a way makes it easier, because the hard thing about this ditch is that they're vertical banks of dirt that you need to climb, and that really tests your grip. But when I run through the ruts, it really doesn't do that. So we're trying something new. Plus it's really dry right now, and it's been dry for a while. So our usually muddy ditch is actually just a dry dirt ditch right now. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is turn off my parking sensors, because they're gonna be beeping this whole time if I don't. So give me a second to do that. Okay, I've also got it in multi-terrain select. And I'm just gonna run it in the auto setting for now. And I'm in 4-wheel drive high, nothing locked up, no stabilizer bar disconnected. I'm gonna go into this without that stuff because I don't think I'm gonna need it. So dropping in now. There's the parking sensors off for good. Okay, creeping through, that felt fine. It's this corner right up here. What do you think, Liam? Does that front corner look like it's gonna clear? All right. Let's see how it climbs. I'm just creeping right now. And there's the other bank. Let's see if we can just creep up it. So I just got the front parking sensors freaking out at me, and it just locked up my brakes. Is it gonna do it again? It just did it again. All right. Once again, folks, let me put it in park. I will say that as an owner, you'd probably understand how to do all these things right off the bat, but I really dislike the fact that when you put new modern trucks into an off-road mode, mud and ruts mode, water mode, multi-terrain select like here, it should shut off those parking sensors. It should understand that I'm off-road and I mean to be hitting that bank. I'm going super slow and cautious, but trucks these days, they don't do that. So let me go through the settings here and turn everything off properly so that it doesn't lock up my brakes again when I don't expect it. And we're back. I think I've shut off all of the nannies now, and now we're ready for off-roading. I appreciate the fact that I can shut them off. I just wish there was one quick button. Hey, I'm in off-road mode, shut them off. And they don't do that. But here we go. Trying to climb this dirt bank now. Grip feels fine. Everything's so dry. Oh, yes. It just climbed, no problem. My rear's dropping in now. Haven't felt anything rub yet, really. It's all been tire. Beautiful Tacoma. Really nice. That's thanks to good angles, good clearance, and good tires. Now let's see how it does in our offset ruts over here. Now these ruts are truly to test lockers, but I'm gonna go in unlocked with the stabilizer bar disconnected, because with that stabilizer bar disconnected, I'm gonna get better articulation, which should keep those front wheels with better contact to the ground. And I'm betting that that alone is gonna be enough to claw me through here. That and traction control systems, because they are so good these days that they can generally send the power where it's needed. So if I need the locker, I'll engage it. But I'm betting that just the stabilizer disconnect is gonna be enough to get me through these ruts. So here we go. And right about here, my rear passenger is gonna lift, and let's see what it does. Creeping, creeping. Here's my low point. Nice. A bit of slip, a bit of struggle, but really quickly figured it out. Here's my next lift point. Now my rear driver's off the ground. Wow, really quickly figured it out. And it didn't feel like it had to slip that much at all, much less than some other vehicles have to slip to get through there. So locker's not even needed because the articulation is just so dang good. I expect the Trailhunter to be the exact same through all that stuff, but let's go try it out just to see. Okay, here in the Trailhunter now, and we'll start with the new off-road ritual of turning off all of the nannies. So give me 1 second and we'll go. So let me show you all the nannies you have to shut off before you go off-road. You want to turn off your lane departure alert. Blind spot monitoring, goodbye. Your PCS, pre-collision system, goodbye. That one's already off. Parking sensors are already off. Rear cross traffic, goodbye. Rear camera detection, goodbye. And then these two are already off from before. So some of the systems stay off, but a bunch of them actually come back on every single time you turn the truck on and off, which is pretty annoying. So I've had to shut these off individually each time I've shut the truck off. Okay, here we go. As I mentioned, things should really be the same here through these obstacles, so I'm really only gonna call out any differences. Otherwise, I'm just gonna drive it. Let's see how she feels. I should mention at this point, I'm only in 4 high, but the power feels really good, especially in these low creeping situations. Wow, like the torque is right there, easy to modulate, easy to get to. And we're through the ditch like it's nothing. Now, usually that ditch is super muddy, so I think that's one of the big differences today is how dry things are, but still very impressive coming through there. Time for the ruts now. I'm actually gonna keep the sway bar connected just to feel the difference. So again, I'm in multi-terrain select in auto mode and sway bar locked up. Let's see, I think it'll still do it even with the sway bar connected, but let's find out. So right about here, we should struggle a bit. Yeah, basically the same as the Pro, man. That's really good. That's great articulation straight out of the box. Very important. And then just a very quickly acting and intelligent four-wheel drive system. Well, the Tacomas have made that look like a cakewalk. Let's go try and find something a little slipperier and tougher up on the Hydroline. Okay folks, we're gonna drop into the deep water and mud here on the Hydroline and the TRD Pro. This time I've got it down into 4 low, multi-terrain select is turned on, and I put it into mud mode. So no locker just yet, But mud mode, multi-terrain select should be more than enough. And 4 low, I'm excited to feel that power. Here we go, dropping in. Oh yeah, the power feels good. There's not a ton of water here right now. And it's a little soft right here. Oh man, but the grip too from the territories is awesome. And yeah, coming up and over those rocks, the suspension's doing good. One rock hit right there. Nice. Almost no slipping on the hill, no slipping on the pit. One rock kissed a skid plate. Outside of that, it felt good. And again, I think the thing I'm being hyper aware of is sort of the suspension and my body movement, because now I'm comparing isodynamic seats to non, and I'm going to compare the old man Emu shocks to these ones. But just in terms of clearance, power, all the things you need to get through a pit like that, TRD Pro felt really good. So far, in both of these trucks, I am feeling quite confident. They are both very confidence-inspiring, at least with everything we've done so far. Okay, turned around now, so I'm coming back down the hill. This is where I like to turn on crawl control or whatever off-road cruise control system I have. Crawl control has 5 different speed settings. This is setting 3. My foot is off the brake, off the gas. This is all truck. And I've said this in other Toyotas already, but the new crawl control system is massively updated from the original system. It's silent, pretty smooth too. And you know what? I'm gonna let crawl control do all the work for me. So as I get close to the mud here, let's crank up. Now I'm in speed setting 5. Oh, there's a departure angle problem. Just dragged my tail on a rock. But it's creeping through. And the big positive on crawl control is that it's super smooth power delivery. And it's very steady power delivery as well. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's not that fun. I like driving trucks when I'm out here. But in terms of execution, the crawl control system's pretty dang good as well. Good job, TRD Pro. You're officially muddy now. Let's swap out for the Trailhunter and see what happens. Now it's the Trailhunter's turn, also in 4 low, also multi-terrain select mud mode. And I don't expect much difference, but I'll let you know what I feel. Mostly they just feel really good. Definitely a stiffer experience here in the Trailhunter. It's not swallowing up stuff underneath me quite as well. And then the seat, I mean, I'm not, oh, there was one rock there. Yeah, same rock, same skid plate. I'm not just gonna say it's the isodynamic seat. The seats here in the Trailhunter are actually kind of stiff, even just on their own, not even comparing it to the TRD Pro, comparing it to any seat. These are some rock hard seats in here. So I think that's the biggest difference that's jumping out at me so far, is just this truck, yeah, it comes across a little stiffer, not quite as softly sprung as the other truck, but when it comes to capability, man, they both feel really good. Now let's take them over to the left hook, see what happens over there. Now's a good time to mention the camera system here. The same in both trucks. It's really quite good. When I put it down into 4 low, this is the off-road screen that comes up. You get that view underneath the truck if you want it. It's not a live view. It's taking an image of what's right in front of the truck and then sort of superimposing those wheels on top of it. But then these views over here on the side, I mean, you know exactly where that front wheel is at all times. I really do like that. Dropping back into the water right now. Yeah, just look at what a good view that is of those front tires. You should still have a spotter when you go off-road, but it is less necessary than ever thanks to how good these camera systems are. Now I want to see how this air compressor works on the Trailhunter. So we're using the Toyota provided airline. go ahead and turn it on. We're gonna blow up the tire on our Yamaha Kodiak ATV. So we're just gonna take it up to 6.5 PSI. ATVs run pretty low pressures. So we take our quick disconnect end, shove it on there like that. Then we hook up the ATV. And yes, if you're wondering, that's just Dad going by in the tractor. Always out here interrupting us while we work. So we hook that up, and it starts automatically because it reads 0.8 in the tire, and it's gonna take us up to that 6.5. And this has got to be one of the most convenient uses for this, is if you're airing up and down. There also is a deflate setting, so you can set the PSI you want to air down to. It'll take it right to that setting for you. And then when you want to air back up, punch in the number. And the max PSI on this little compressor is 120, at least according to the screen. And it even says right on there, finished. So now I know that I've got 6.5 PSI in my ATV tire, and I'm ready to ride. So yeah, this is it's a neat feature, man. I really do appreciate it. And the other thing is, not only for your own tires, but maybe this ATV, you know, lost a bunch of air back in the bush somewhere. Well, now you don't got to drag a compressor with you. Just bring your Trailhunter and you can pump her back up. Before we go further off-road, I want to adjust these. These are the TRD Pro isodynamic seats. Essentially, these seats have air suspension built right into them. The idea is that at high speeds, it's going to control your body movement to help you focus on the road ahead. Now, Toyota does provide a handy-dandy air pump in your glove box, so you're able to do this. It has a little gauge on it, and it has a release button too, so you can release PSI from these seats. Now, the other thing Toyota does, in the owner's manual, they lay out very specifically, if you are this weight and you want to go high-speed off-roading, here's the PSI the seats should be set at. And there's two different settings, a vertical setting and a horizontal setting. And for me, I'm at max because the highest weight they list is 270 plus, so that is me. So I have to take the vertical setting up to 120 PSI, and then the horizontal setting up to 50 PSI, which is basically right at the top of the range. So we thread that on there like that, and we start pumping. And you'll see there's a gauge here, but then I also have a digital gauge right here on the pump, which is gonna help me know exactly when I'm there. 111, 115, 118, 121, and then I can, oh no, 120, it fell back down. Perfect, so there we are at our 120. Oh, a little much, it's pretty sensitive. 49. Oh, that's 52. That's gonna be good enough. All right, and there you have it. Now the one other feature I'll show you down here, you can actually lock these out. So they say it's an on-road versus an off-road mode. On-road, yeah, it basically is gonna make them rigid, and then off-road you'll be using the suspension. And now, before I talk about the upsides of the seats, which I will talk about when I'm in them, the obvious downside here, this eats up a lot of leg room back here in the back. And not only that, you get these knobs protruding out of here, so you have hard stuff to really whack your knees into if you're installing child seats here. This eats up a lot of your space. So yes, if you go TRD Pro with isodynamic, realize that you're losing a good couple of inches for your backseat passengers. But today's not about that. Today's about flying through a field off-road. So first let's go hit the mud, and then we'll go high speed, and we'll see how these things really feel. Okay folks, entering the left hook now, and there's certainly some squishy mud over here, but a lot less water. But it's at this point in the video I will once again give a shout out to these Goodyear Wrangler Territories. These tires have become so popular on so many different OEM off-road models. It's not just Toyota using them, Ford, Jeep to name a few. So yes, big shout out to these tires. They really are good on-road, pretty quiet, and solid when you get them out here in the squishy stuff. All right, now into the soft section. Once again, 4 low, Mud mode. Oh, we're belly dragging a bit. Now these ruts are getting deep. But it's not slowing me down at all. Yeah, through the swamp. Oh yeah, dragging there again. Super slow speed transfer here to the hill. No momentum at all. So far that's okay. I was slipping there coming out, but it figured it out. No problem. Up and over those rocks. Tacoma, you're making this look so easy. Yeah, that was no problem at all. Good low speed torque. Throttle modulation's great. Again, the only thing I'm feeling, I'm here in the Trailhunter, just a bit stiffer. The seat's stiff, the suspension's a bit more stiff. Outside of that though, man, the capability here is quite good. We'll see if the Pro does anything differently, but I anticipate it's gonna be a cakewalk in that truck too. Now we're coming downhill on the left hook, and I'm going old school. This is just gearing. I'm locked in first in 4 low. Not bad. A little quicker than what I'd feel comfortable doing, but that was about 6 kilometers per hour at the peak of that hill. So yeah, not terrible. Not terribly low gearing either, but not terrible. And luckily these days we have something like crawl control, which is essentially just mimicking, you know, the low gearing that we used to have back in the day, or some newer vehicles do, like the Ford Bronco with that bull low gear. And now I'm once again in thick mud, and so far the Tacoma's making it look easy. Even when it's dragging its belly, it's getting plenty of traction from these tires, lots of power. Oh, this is interesting. We got a new cedar down on the trail here. Okay, this is actually going to create a new obstacle because I'm currently stuck in these ruts, and I'm going to have to hop out of the ruts to avoid this flipping tree. Yeah, well, we just got some new chainsaw work we got to do. So I'm fully locked to the passenger side right now, but the truck's not turning because it's down in these ruts. I don't want to push too far into this tree. This is going to take a bit of maneuvering here. So let's see, maybe in reverse. Will it hop out at all? Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. No, these ruts are so deep. Okay, straightening my wheels. Let's back up. Maybe with a bit of momentum, I can sort of get up into it and then hop out of here. Let's see now. A bit of speed and then crank the wheel. Yeah, nice. I definitely hit a couple branches there, but for the most part I avoided it. And then we got a pine tree down on the trail. There's obviously been some big storms here. So I'm avoiding the cedar on the left and I'm driving over the pine on the right, all while trying to do my best not to damage the truck. Up and over the log. Oh, rubbed on the log a little bit. But there, I'm through. And you know what? Hopping out of muddy ruts is a great test of tires, and although it took a little bit of doing, Tacoma did do it. All right, TRD Pro time. And here I come in the TRD Pro. Same settings, 4 low, multi-terrain select mud mode. I'm just gonna drive it and have some fun, and I will let you guys know the differences, because I don't expect there to really be any problems. I do notice the hood being a little bigger on the TRD Pro because it's got that scoop, sort of the big haunches on it. It cuts the visibility down a little bit. Not a huge deal, but yes, the visibility slightly better in the Trailhunter. And here we go into the swamp. Oh man, it's always fun driving through this stuff. And that's why we do this, right? And transition, beautiful. You can hear the exhaust a little more here on the TRD Pro. It pronounces itself. And look at that, just walked through. And I'm gonna keep beating this dead horse, but it's softer over here. It's a much more comfortable ride. So I do appreciate that. Okay, coming down the backside of the left hook now. Just driving it myself back into the muddy ruts. And because I know that tree is there this time, we'll see if I can't hop out and around it a little earlier. Nice. Maybe even all the way back here. Can I get out of the ruts right here? Climb, Pro, climb! No, she doesn't want to. There it is. Exactly the same spot. There must be a bit of a ridge right there where I was able to climb out. There we go. Back tires are out. Back over this poor pine tree. Crunch. And back through. Well, what can I say? They feel super similar. Power feels excellent. Tires are good. Clearance is solid. There's no doubt the steps here on the Pro probably would have been dragging more, but I couldn't really feel it from behind the wheel. These are good, very capable trucks. And I gotta say, they feel like a step far forward from the previous Tacomas in a number of ways. Just more refined, more comfortable inside. I haven't even brought up the seating position yet, but the seating position is way better than in the old truck. So I'm more comfortable in here. All the technology is here. A great camera system. Yeah, this is a complete redesign from the old Tacomas, and I really don't see very many things that went the wrong way as opposed to went the right way. But you know what? Now I think we're gonna truly differentiate these two, because we're gonna go do high-speed off-roading, and that should show us the real suspension differences. Let's get out there and see if we can fly. So here we are in the TRD Pro, folks. Time to go quick.
Yeah.
Wipers.
Yeah, you got to remember to turn them on before you hit
the water. You can't see a dang thing. So we're just here on this local unmaintained road. It's really rough, huge potholes, and we're gonna do some of the high speed to really feel both of these trucks and feel the differences. So far, TRD Pro, yeah, it's about what I expected. You're doing 40, almost 50 kilometers per hour, and it's soaking that stuff up reasonably well.
Yeah, and they're big holes.
Yeah, now I think the thing I'm having trouble sort of feeling is what is suspension versus what is your isodynamic seat, you know, because these seats are suspended as well. I don't know. And maybe it's just my body, maybe I'm not used to feeling it, but I don't feel like a massive difference, I guess I want to say. There's nothing jumping out at me to be like, whoa, these seats are incredible. Did you feel anything on first pass?
I don't know. I don't know how to judge it.
Yeah,
really.
It's so not something we're used to. Right?
Other than the fact that it's a really nice bolstered,
it is.
Form-fitting kind of seat,
and they're comfortable.
It's cushioning my butt.
Yeah, comfortably.
But is this that much better than the regular seats? I don't know.
Yeah, well, do it again, and let's see if you can really feel for it.
Here we go. Now I got the wipers on this time.
And we are in sport mode. The power feels good.
Okay, well, this time we're going to
jump her here a little.
Yeah, we're going to hit her. Yeah, watch your head.
Yeah, that was almost 60 kilometers an hour, and it's doing a nice job. And maybe a little bit there, sort of coming up and over those big whoops. I think I was feeling a little bit of what my seat was doing. And again, the idea is, according to Toyota, to stabilize your upper body, just less body movement. And I kind of felt it. My body movement was a little bit divorced from the truck movement, but I will still say overall, not a massive difference. But the way that truck just did it, it's exactly what I expected it to do. That was pretty fun.
That was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so TRD Pro down, did what we thought it would do. I'm more curious now about Trailhunter. That's not the high-speed off-road truck, so what does it do at high speeds? We're going to find out right now. All right, Dad, let's go trail hunting. We will do our best now in the Trailhunter to sort of hit the same speeds, but we'll see how limited it is suspension-wise. There's the water again.
Whoa.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're going to find the limits of this way quicker. Oh. And yeah, I mean, whether it's suspension or seat or just the combination of the two, my body's flying around. I'm all over the cab. as compared to the TRD Pro, where both the suspension and the seat were controlling us. So,
well, that was it. I mean, you were asking me, what do you think of the seat? I mean, like, now I can tell you. Yeah,
Right.
it's better.
yeah. Yeah, it's definitely doing its job over there a lot better. And this is not even necessarily a knock on the Trailhunter, because Toyota told us this isn't the high-speed truck. That one is.
No, it isn't. But I wanted to see, on the other hand, is the high-speed truck actually something?
Yeah, right. And it definitely is. The suspension differences are absolutely there. And you know, we were running in the softest setting on those Fox shocks. We could have even cranked them up, and then maybe you could have been hitting stuff a little bit harder. But yeah, no doubt about it. If you go Trailhunter, it's not for ripping through the desert or for potholed roads. This thing's more about the slow speed crawling and really getting deep out in the bush,
Yeah.
but not going anywhere fast.
All right, well, whatever. Let's try it again.
Okay, it is still fun.
Yeah, that's it.
That intake noise is just insane over here off of the desert air intake. My mic just came off. And that's 60 kilometers an hour, so you did hit the same speed, but that was the rear end of the truck right off the ground.
Oh, there's Liam running for his life.
Oh man, Dad, well there's something hilarious about that, because that was almost more fun because I was being thrown around and the back end was up and you were getting squirrely, but
Yeah,
in terms of control and just being sort of safe in that situation, the TRD Pro is, you know, way better than this truck.
Yep, there is a definite difference. Don't think it's just stickers.
Right. Well, folks, we have arrived at the end of this one, and you saw it in this video. Both of these Tacomas made our trails, frankly, look easy. And I will say that compared to the last gen trucks, I really do think these are a big step forward. Now, when it comes to the differences, yeah, the TRD Pro, the suspension is just better, especially at that high-speed off-roading. And then when it comes to the Trailhunter, I love the way it's outfitted. More protection underneath, more accessories on top, that air compressor back there. It makes it super useful. So I'm not really going to pick one over the other because these are two different tools for two different jobs. I just appreciate that Toyota is offering us more choice in its off-road portfolio. So like I said, that's it for this one. Now please drop in the comments because I want to hear from you. Which truck would you buy? Do you want to go fast or do you want to go overlanding? Let me know down there in the comments. And while you're down below, don't forget to mash that like button, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a Truck King video. Hit the join button so you can become a member of our channel too. And then come right back here to see what we're testing.